Hello and welcome to today's guided natural rest. My name is Juuso Voltti, and today we are going to do another guided rest where I'm kind of showing how I'm doing this on my own. And today's session is going to be a little different again because I'm actually really triggered today. I found myself in quite a difficult argument in my relationship earlier today, and I'm pretty feeling the effects of that in my body. So I really need to do this practice for myself as well, not only for you watching. So even though I'm triggered, I'm now going to do the resting part pretty much like I would normally do, and not really worry about so much about the words or the meaning of words and images or thoughts that I might have. And let's just get started. And yeah, the first thing that I'm noticing is that there's quite a lot of racket from the kids playing on the playground, and that's that's kind of how I'm also feeling in my body right now. So there's loads and loads of stuff going on. And before I tune into the body, I'm going to just briefly have a look around and settle here. So I'm sitting here on my balcony and noticing the trees, noticing the calmness of the trees. And noticing all those noises from the playground. And having done that, I'm naturally drawn to focusing on the body sensations. And first I'm noticing quite a lot of tightness in my head. And for a moment I'm just allowing that tension to be there. And then my attention is naturally moving further down the body, kind of scanning first the whole upper part of the body, and then the legs and the lower part. And as I'm noticing this, I'm also noticing some emotions that are attached to those body sensations. And kind of curiously tuning into those emotions and allowing them to be, and seeing what they're about, if they want to reveal more about themselves or what they're about. Okay, so as I was doing that, there was a word sadness that came up. And sometimes this happens when I'm tuning into the emotions and it's not quite ready to to reveal itself yet. So all I'm seeing now is kind of a label for that emotion. So as that word came up, I'm going to see that word, kind of pull that up and see that word in front of me, and looking at that word sadness for a moment. And as I acknowledged that word, it pretty naturally faded away. And I'm now bringing my attention back to the felt sense in the body and any emotions. And okay, there's another label, which is anger. So I'm going to do the same thing with that one. So just pulling up the word anger and looking at that for a moment. Okay, and as the word faded away, I'm noticing there's a body contraction that is happening as I'm tuning into the body. I can feel that in my face, in the muscles of my face, and also in the upper back. So I'm allowing those contractions to be here, and allowing them to even become stronger if they want. And kind of curiously seeing how they evolve, if they want to change, if they want to move. Just seeing what happens. Okay, so those are calming down. And as I'm doing this, I'm reminded that all that I'm really experiencing is some combinations of thoughts, emotions, and body sensations. And really what I'm doing here is just sitting here, being aware of all those aspects and allowing all of them to be here. Not having to change any of them, not having to do anything about them. And even though there's quite a bit of emotions going on, I'm already feeling a lot more calm and collected from simply tuning into these emotions and body sensations. Oftentimes simply allowing them and tuning into them instead of avoiding them is enough to calm the body down, calm the nervous system down. And I'm noticing there are pretty long breaks in between thoughts. So as one thought fades away, there's this sense of silence. And I'm drawn to experiencing and kind of enjoying that silence for a moment. And I'm also noticing the breeze of the wind touching my arms. And again, remembering that I don't need to do anything at the moment. I can just allow myself to rest. And now there are some images related to the argument from earlier today. So I'm allowing those images to be here, allowing them to come up and curiously looking at them. And now I'm going to do something that I like to do when I'm doing facilitations. And as I'm looking at these images, I'm consciously inviting other words and images to come up. Kind of asking myself, is there anything else related to these images that want to be seen? And yeah, there are some images of the past. Yeah, images of situations when okay. Yeah, sometimes when you get these associations, it's not clear what the connection is, and it might take a moment to see what these images are about, or those memories are about, and why they came up, and Okay, so as I'm doing this, I'm feeling like I'm getting nauseous, like physically sick. So I'm going to pause the recording for a moment and continue this in a moment. Okay, I'm back. So what happened there was as I was doing that, what started off as a natural rest, but as there was so difficult emotions coming up and yeah, difficult emotions, I actually had to kind of switch to doing some actual killer bee inquiry stuff. And yeah, this is what sometimes happens, that doing just the natural rest isn't enough. It just doesn't. You can get a little bit of that calm sense, but it doesn't really shift. It doesn't really it doesn't really resolve. The emotions don't really resolve before you're able to look at those troubling images that are there, or really be able to get and feel into that body sensation and those emotions. And that's exactly what happened now. So so I started with the images of the argument that I was involved in earlier today, and that when I allowed other associations to come, I stumbled upon a few more images which all were in some way related to my like insecurities, and sometimes when you stumble upon those like really core deficiency story images and beliefs, it can come out as becoming like physically sick. And yeah, sometimes you actually need to go up and allow your body to kind of go through the motions of actually throwing up. And we don't, I've never heard that anyone has actually thrown up, but that's what sometimes happens, because those beliefs that we've kind of internalized and swallowed, those can be so revolting that it makes us to kind of figuratively and kind of literally try and get those out of the system. And the good news about that is that when that happens, the emotion actually resolves through that. And you might not have to it might just go to that, go and become that extreme. You can just feel those emotions as body sensations and maybe shake a little bit, maybe cry a little bit or something. And however it comes out, they do resolve. So, for example, now up until that point, you could probably see that I was pretty nervous, pretty wound up, whereas now, having experienced those emotions, I'm in a completely different place. And yeah, really happy to have done this this session. And as you can see, you can do this on your own. You don't necessarily always need a facilitator, but it does take time to get to this point where you're able to sit with those really deep core like really deep core stuff. And it for me it took like months, and I was just doing being facilitated by other facilitators, and now I'm luckily in a position where I can do this on my own. And well, I was able to do like simple stuff from the beginning, and that's quite easy. But what often happens with these trickier emotions is is that with those we need some help from a facilitator. Yeah, there's actually one more thing I wanted to mention about the self-facilitation that I just did, the one that you just saw, and that is has to do with the benefits of doing something like that. So the obvious benefit is that I'm feeling much better. So that's kind of a yeah, that's like the obvious part. Like before a session, we oftentimes feel emotionally torn and uncomfortable, and after a session, we feel calm and relaxed and happier, oftentimes. But that's actually only one half of the benefit that you get from doing sessions like this. And what's going to happen now is I'm actually going to, in about an hour from now, I'm going to meet the person that I was having that argument with earlier today. So imagine me being in the state that I was in before doing this session. And imagine how I would interact with that person with all that stuff still inside me, and all my interactions coming from that place of insecurity and tension and internal conflict and whatever was going on in my mind and subconscious mind before doing this session, and contrast that with how I'm able to relate to that person and be with that person and talk with that person and be in contact with this person now that I've first done this this session that you just saw. And it's like blatantly obvious that it's like the place where I'm coming from is now completely different. And this is something that I'm really passionate about teaching people, that instead of learning just those like techniques about communication and what to say to your partner or whatever, to also do this killer bee inquiries approach in addition to learning any of those communication skills. So doing this first is kind of automatically putting you in a completely different place and enables you to be much more in contact and much more authentic in the in all of our relationships, basically. So yeah, I think that's that's probably all for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of this one, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.